Indonesia has the most unexpected cash cow. At the center of just this giant $30 million global reptile trade is Indonesia and its monster lizards.
It's a big fella. Real big deal one.
And so today we're going to see how that goes down. How Indonesians catch lizards with dogs.
Usually these guys rock this all day long.
How they sell them as exotic pets.
And if he sells it overseas?
15 million.
15 million. That's like nearly $1,000 lizard, guys.
Because nothing goes to waste here. They're turned into just incredibly fiery curries with the most interesting of tastes.
Let's try it.
And at the end, we're going to see why this whole industry exists. How this wild product is transformed by artisans into something that is considered sleek and rare and luxurious worldwide. Let's go catch a lizard.
Guys, there's just something about hunting with dogs that I enjoy. It's like this primal thing. I believe we've done this for centuries. And these dogs, these hunting dogs, are a very specialized kind. These are lizard dogs.
These dogs are at the core of it. They're built for it. Short, tough, fearless. They're designed to smash through thick scrub, dive headfirst into burrows, and to take on lizards multiple times their size without even blinking. And yeah, some of these lizards, they get huge. Like 3 meters long huge. They're armed with claws. That is absolutely no joke.
Kalau yang bagus itu lidahnya ada hitamnya.
The good one, the tongue has black mark.
Ada hitamnya.
They bet more strength, so it's good for the hunting.
How many dogs do we go today with?
Paling
8,
8.
maybe 8.
Maybe 8 dogs.
Ya,
Wow.
8 lah.
Alright guys, we are loading up, getting these dogs fixed on a motorbike. I guess that is generally the method of transportation around here, like it is everywhere in Southeast Asia.
The dogs, they jump on one by one, sometimes 2 to a bike, and just like that, we're off. No leash, no dramas, they know the drill.
Alright guys, we have sent the dogs running off very quickly, calling some noise. They know exactly what is up, obviously. Now we have the procession starting off through the rice fields. The goal, the primary goal, is biawak or monitor lizard. The secondary goals are mongoose or civets, which these dogs are also trained for.
The hunt kicks off and the dogs are straight into the brush. The hunters pipe, they yell, they whistle, throwing out calls to get them fired up, and it is on. And just keeping up with these guys is a mission. The dogs are flying through the brush. Every time someone yells out civet, they lose their mind. It's a full sprint, tails up, all in.
I think they have one trapped in the water here. They are searching for it now by hand, just kind of like wading along with the knives. These monitor lizards can swim, and one of the ways that they're going to hide is get under here. Keeping the cigarettes out of the water, of course, top priority.
You can't see a damn thing in that water, but you can feel around. Maybe you get lucky, or maybe you just wait these things out. It's a bit of a patience and a bit of a guessing game.
It's obviously, this thing's a reptile, so it cannot hold its breath for that long. We spotted it once. Oh, there it goes.
And it doesn't take too long. We get one in the bag.
Generally, the idea is scare them out of their hidey hole, and the dogs do the rest.
We do spot a couple of civets also, but they're just too quick to catch.
I heard them calling out civet.
During a quick breather, a lizard makes a run for it, but we scramble, catch it again, and just like that, we're off to the next location.
So someone already get.
Smoke break, first location down, one monitor lizard down, and I'm telling you, that is a lot of work for one little lizard. Just hoping for a few more today. And usually these guys rock this all day long. The calorie burn must be pretty crazy.
And that's when something odd kind of happens. We pull over, waiting for a flat tire, just killing time, and then boom, a goanna bolts out right in front of us. You couldn't make this up.
This little guy here just committed committed suicide, ran straight past these dogs. Wasn't a smart idea.
And just like that, lizard number 2 is in the bag.
Hey!
And just like that, we're off to the next location.
Alright, location 2, we are 2 lizards in. Maybe things pick up around here. They say that the ideal location is somewhere where there is some rice harvesting going on. I see some harvesters in the distance though, but at least they're around. It is hot, guys. Hot, 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 hot.
We hit on another few lizards. Some break cover and we follow them through soaked rice, through walls of reed and into murky ponds where the fields fade into swamps.
We can hear them. I think they have one, but they are deep in those reeds. There's a million little hidey holes to get in amongst, trees to climb up, rivers to swim through.
And finally, after digging through the muck, one of these guys gets lucky. Hand hits scale and boom, we've got it. A third lizard down.
Okay, lizard 3 finally tracked down. He sort of camped out for a little while. Hell yeah. And it's wild how these guys just feel him out in the water. All right guys, this is the first time I've ever got hands on a live monitor lizard. Luckily it's tied up and they take a fair amount of caution really tying up those bottom pincers right there, because those things, trust me, will punch holes all the way right through you. And so yeah, this is number 3 in the books, and these guys are keeping on going. They're going to be going all day long. Around about 7 is usually the typical amount. 20 is a really good day, they're telling me. That's kind of the range. A couple of mongoose in there and you are talking a great day. But I'm kind of hungry, and time to see what this guy tastes like. Restaurant transition. Boom. Hi guys, we have like a bunch of crazy enclosures here. They are filled with monitor lizards, pythons. These guys sell bats, pork, which is kind of a novelty here in parts of Indonesia. It's an interesting restaurant, let's just say that.
Pretty snake, huh? They're so beautiful. How big do you think? Maybe 3 meters?
Sekitar 3,5.
3.5, wow, big python. It's not unusual out here to come across biawak on a restaurant menu. Restaurants like this one are dedicated to exotic meats. Places like this have cages filled with strange animals lining the back rooms, and freezers stacked with even more species, some of which you might not have ever even seen before, let alone tasted.
Sekitar 70 kilo.
Wow, every week he needs around 70 kilogram chicken to fit all his collection.
Wow.
This is biawak liver.
Liver.
Yes, this is the most expensive part of the biawak. They sell it for 700,000 rupiah for each ounce.
Alright guys, so these bile sacks here are actually typically exported to China, so they're not eaten here. And I have a rule, if it's not done by the locals, then I don't do it. So maybe you see me eat biawak bile sack when I go to China, because bile is the most disgusting stuff on earth. Trust me, I hate it every time I try it. That's horrible. That is really horrible.
And some of the lizards here are massive beasts. They've been skinned and they're being cleaned, ready for somebody else. But for me, they pick a sort of smaller, single person sized monitor lizard and they get to work. The lizard gets skinned. First cut goes straight down the back, and then the chef uses his fingers to kind of separate out the meat from the valuable leather, keeping the skin mostly intact for eventual sale and reuse.
I don't know quite what it is. There's just something creepy about doing this right next to all the snakes. It's an interesting choice of a butchery room, that is for damn sure. Notably, they seem to be keeping the skin intact because that's pretty valuable here in Indonesia.
but we are here for the meat. Once the skin is off, the guts come out, although the liver and the bile sac are kept. Everything then gets rinsed off, and we start chopping it down into sort of finger-sized chunks, almost ready to cook. The meat gets put on the boil, and while it simmers away, we start building up a massive base. Lime leaves, shallots, garlic, cayenne nut, red chili, red pepper, turmeric, ginger, galangalang. It all gets tossed in a blender, a splash of water, and we hit go.
Seeing it broken down, it is like a mad mix of just about everything.
The mix gets simmered down for a good 45 minutes, low and slow, and then finally goes in the boiled lizard, soaking up all that goodness.
A little bit of oil, definitely no MSG, and we're almost ready to go. Hi guys, here we go. My first bite of this beautiful, beautiful looking biovac monitor lizard. I have had reptiles quite a lot of time, and man, that is hot. I can feel it burning my fingers actually. We have no knife and forks. We are in Indonesia, of course. And this looks to me to be like a claw minus the claws, if you know what I mean. All right, here we go guys. My first bite. Well, that is a lot of flavor. There's like the spice, the chili hits you right away. You know, reptile in the past, I've always compared to chicken. This is nothing like chicken. It's a much more brown meat, much more firm, a lot of muscle in it. You can see why it's kind of like a chewy bite. It has, if anything, an almost fishy flavor. That's a crazy creature. Obviously there's a ton of spice just overpowering everything that you eat, but in general, I don't know. I think it's a pretty good dish. So along the backbone, there's sort of like this one fillet, I guess, for lack of a better word. Let's try it. Quite honestly, if you tried this, you had no idea what it was, other than the fact that it's a little bit bony. Like, you'd have no idea. That's pretty good eating. So yeah, perhaps it's the cooking process, but pretty neutral flavor, pretty edible. Again, reptiles, kind of an underrated meat. In fact, turtle, still at the top of my list though. A lot of work though, a lot of work for that meal. Like, we were trekking through all kinds of jungle, diving through all kinds of water. There's got to be simpler ways to get that food. Lutfi, your turn.
And here you go.
Yeah.
You like my fish comparison or not?
Not fish, but maybe big fish like manta or something. Yeah.
Once they're caught, either trapped or hunted with dogs, they end up here with middlemen. These guys are the next part in the leather process, the skinning and the drying. And it happens pretty fast.
All right, guys, it is monitor lizard time. It is a pretty common skin around here, a pretty common food.
One spike to the head and it's lights out, Ikejime style. And then the skinning starts. First, the talons come off. And then they grab a razor and start mapping out the rest of the cuts.
This thing seems really different, much more complex than the pythons, which you might have seen in a previous episode. It's just got kind of more shape to it, you know what I mean? And we're pulling out the pliers now, so you know we're getting serious. This skin is tough, guys, I'm telling you. Like, we're sort of having to use a steel card and a set of pretty serious pliers to separate it from the skin. I mean, once again, you can kind of see why this is used as leather. It's tough stuff.
Once it's off, it's all about patience. hammer and nail work. Each edge pinned tightly to hold the shape intact, because if this skin curls or shrinks, it's ruined.
You know, I wasn't expecting them to trim off some of this lizard skin. Interestingly, like every bit of the python is used. But the lizard, there's definitely some waste there.
They tell me that out of this entire cooler filled with lizard skins, only a handful will ever get accepted by the international leather guys. The rest, the rejects, they get sent back to the local tanneries instead. And I'm guessing because these lizards are wild, a lot of rips, scrapes, and wild patterns just tend to occur.
For the high quality one of the monitor lizard skin, it's up to 300,000 rupiah
Really?
per piece.
Wow.
Per lembar itu nggak gede kecil itu 35.000 per lembar.
Kalau misalnya udah balik lagi itu buat borongan. So
Jual
the
lokal gitu.
sandbag product that already doesn't pass the QC will be sold cheaply around 30 to 50,000 rupiah per piece.
Interesting. So once they're finished up, these dried lizard skins are packed into coolers, as you can see, and shipped off, in this instance, to Bogor. But yeah, that's kind of wild. Just lizard discs at this point. Very, very thin, very crispy. I bet they taste pretty good.
Skins, though, are not the only moneymaker in the business. A big chunk of the lizard trade here in Indonesia is selling them live as pets to collectors. And Surabaya acts as a sort of hub where birds and monkeys and lizards of all shapes and sizes tend to end up before being sent off around the world.
They have every kind of bird from Indonesia that you could possibly imagine. Every kind of exotic, rare breed you can find here. And if you can't find it, if you ask, they'll get it here for you within a week or two, I guarantee. Money talks, and in Indonesia, anything can happen. It's a world of possibility, people.
But I know a guy, a lizard guy, well, a reptile guy. He has a lot of stuff, and he specializes in legally trading lizards.
So I've been here before. We have this like crazy room. It's filled with boxes all over, lining the walls. These guys get shipments in once every few weeks, I guess.
Tiap bulan sekali.
Every month.
Every month, and it comes from usually East Indonesia.
Ya, dari mana aja mas?
Kebanyakan Asia.
So, tapi kebanyakan dari mana?
Papua.
Most of them come from Papua.
Oh, cool. I'm sure this place is like reptile nerd heaven. It's filled with interesting nerdy stuff.
And what really stands out to me is the number of monitor lizards. There's water lizards, geckos, skinks, you name it.
Okay, so we have Papuan biawak right here. They are one of the most expensive things that we have right here. It's kind of like this long showroom. We have large cages here for the bigger species. Oh, wow.
In Indonesia, 10 million rupiah.
And if he sells it overseas?
Kalau saya jual berapa? 15 million
15 million.
rupiah.
That's like nearly $1,000 lizard, guys. Those lizard dogs need to head to Papua real soon. Very different kind of biawak, guys. Can I see where this one is cut as well?
Big size.
Big size, huh? How much will this one sell for?
Same.
Same price?
Yes, same price.
How big do you think this is?
I think 5 kilos.
5 kilos? Wow. Got like the bigger biawaks back here. A whole wall of like water monitor lizards just lining the way here. You can kind of see them scurrying around.
Kecil. Hati-hati lepas.
Ini dari Papua juga.
Ah, that's a cool looking creature. That is super cute. Wow. Oof. Try to be scared, guys. Kind of am. He's a big fella. Real big biawak. Man, that's crazy how much he's like, how chill this guy is.
He has it for 11 years.
Wow.
Like maybe his 4 children.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is it possible to hold it? That'd be a good thumbnail. Dude, that's crazy.
Hati-hati. Berat.
Oh my god. Oh, come on this way. I need the head, I need the head. Ooh, sorry, sorry.
Hey.
Sorry. Thank you. Wow. What does he sell the most of? Lizards or snakes? What's the most?
Ular dan biawak.
Snake and biawak.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ya, Varanus salvator, water monitor. Termasuk
okay.
di US dan Eropa. Dan kemudian cicak.
In US and UK, people buy the biawak.
If you want to buy something from Indonesia, hit these guys up on Instagram. They'll work it out. There's a local importer. They'll find them for you. You'll be able to get most of what you're after.
Skins that don't pass the inspection for export, they don't go to waste. They usually end up with these sort of small-scale artisans all around Indonesia. There's often nothing too wrong with them, there's just a few scratches here and there. So if you're after monitor lizard leather, I'd hit up one of these local craftsmen.
Good morning, people. I find myself in a sort of like backyard, leathery, tannery, what's the name for a leather artisan's shop? But anyway, what we have here are biawak skins, monitor lizards, and I think we're here to kind of see how you take this kind of crispy piece of leather, which you might have seen, and take it all the way through to a sort of more pliable leather that you might actually be able to work with.
First they soak it in plain water, maybe they add a little bit of a wetting agent to help rinse off the grime, and they rehydrate the skin and the fibres. Then comes a light lime bath. This lifts the scales and helps break down any leftover fat or tissue. And lastly, they're going to use a weak acid to kind of neutralise that lime and to help the tanning agents really sink in, to lock it in, to make it last. And that tanning agent is usually some form of chromium sulfate. And over a few hours, it bonds everything together, turning what was once a basic skin into a proper water-resilient leather. After that, they either leave it raw or toss in some pigment for a coloured lizard skin.
How long does he have to let it dry like this for?
It could be some hour to 1 day, depend the skin condition, and then he just check is it dark enough, this color.
And then what does he do? He waits for it to dry?
He repeat it after all the skin become the same color. Look at this. This has different color, and then.
Yeah. I see. So it's got to kind of go together.
So for the natural color, he do polish, so it make the skin more clear.
I think what's kind of cool about this is that there's sort of like this cottage industry of just like leather production scattered throughout Java. It's not just like giant industries. I mean, obviously that exists, and they're trying to like work their way up the value chain to keep a lot of the stuff here. But I think currently a lot of the profit is taken by Italian, French leather companies who are taking just the premium biawak skins and kind of like making all the margin by tanning them. It's cool to see on a smaller scale here that it's getting into the grassroots of Indonesia. Like, why send that value overseas? And especially it's cool to see sort of the more entrepreneurial side here of local leather makers not letting the kind of like the lower quality skins just go to waste. Why not bring that skill set into Indonesia?
It takes more than intellect to be a musician. It's your soul and soul and soul and soul and soul.
Ever since we hooked up during a crocodile episode a few years ago, Thang's been my go-to leather guy in Saigon, and he knows his way around lizard skin like nothing else.
Alright guys, I am back with my boy Thang, because it's leather time and you know I gotta go to my guy.
Lizard skin loves a glossy finish. That thick, high shine look, it's perfect for purses, handbags, you name it. You can tan this stuff with a matte finish, but it's much harder to find due to the lack of demand in Asia.
In Asia, the men don't like the lizard leather?
Yeah.
Why?
Nghiêng về, đúng là leather nó nghiêng về nữ tính. Thì thường là những cái túi xách của nữ đặt rất nhiều hơn, hoặc là phụ kiện của nữ.
So you think I'm gonna look like a woman with my passport wallet made of lizard skin? Do you think that the tanning quality is getting better in Indonesia and Vietnam, or as soon as a company gets to a certain standard, it will sell, and then it's sort of like it's hard to get a hold of in the local market?
Thường là nếu mà đạt đến một cái mức độ lớn thì nó có thể nó sẽ mua hoặc là nó sẽ đầu tư, mà đầu tư thì kiểu độc quyền, nó gần như là gia công riêng cho nó luôn.
So the good companies in Indonesia, if they have a good supply, it will all sell out. And so it's just really hard to get supply. Or if you can get supply, the price is really high. In a certain way, do you think that is good or bad for the Asian leather market?
Nói chung thì nó vẫn tốt chứ, tại vì mỗi con công ty thì nó làm ra được cái đó, nó làm ra được những cái chất lượng da thực sự thì cũng không nhiều hãng. Tại vì ở Indo thì Thái Lan có cả ngàn công ty làm sản xuất về leather, rất là nhiều.
These skins all seem really small to me. Is this the usual size, or are you buying small sizes?
Tầm trung bình thường á, có nghĩa là đa phần là những cái size cỡ này. Còn lớn hơn á, thì đa phần nó dành riêng cho những cái công ty giống như lớn, ví dụ như LV hơn mà để làm bag, làm plus gì đó.
Anyway, let's get making this wallet and let's see how we go. Cool.
We kick things off by marking out the passport wallet. We're cutting it portrait style to an exact template. Next up, we cut the inside out. Every card sleeve gets sized out in this bold orange cow leather. I'm hoping that it adds some pop without kind of overdoing it. We're going to match a few details on the inside with that outer leather just to keep it a little bit consistent. There's a fair bit of detailed work here. Most of the leather has to be hand tapered from the inside so that the wallet can remain as clean and slim as possible. Finally, it's glue time. We start sticking those sleeves into a synthetic backing just to hold everything in place. And after the glue sets, every sleeve goes under the iron, heat sealed, then glued on the edge for good measure. The holes are hammered in. It's what sets up the final stitching, keeping everything aligned and tight. Now, the backing gets added to our lizard leather. This layer is what gives it structure and a little bit of weight. And then it's time for the needle and thread. Everything gets stitched up by hand from here. Emboss in a logo. And once each sleeve is lined up with care, the edges are glued just right. It then gets stitched up for good. Tight, deliberate, final. The very last step is to glue and then add a paint of finishing coat to the very edges of this wallet. And man, does this thing look good or what?
You don't need MSG?
If we cook that properly, we don't need MSG.
But nobody cares.
No, it's like this. In the past.
No, give me your line, Lotfi. I want
No.
I want to do it. I want to do Lotfi's line. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
That's my take. How'd I go, guys?